What up, what up, what up? Welcome to another episode of 94 Feet with Coach JT. Hey, do me a favor as I build these subscribers and these likes, man. Please comment on the page. Just let me know what you think about the show and just any information, just help me out, man. Give me suggestions. I'm all down for it, man. I'm here for it. Today, man, let me get into my guest resume real quick, and bear with me, man, because I got to be precise and accurate with my information I'm finna give to you real quick, because I'm excited about this one today for sure. My guest today is from Minneapolis, Minnesota. He went to college at Augsburg College from 95 to 99. He was the first round pick, the 23rd overall pick in the first round of the Los Angeles Lakers. He also played with the Dallas Mavericks and the Golden State Warriors. A little more information. He's a three-time NBA champion, second team Division III All-American in ABC in 99, two-time MEAC Player of the Year, three-time All-MEAC player from 97 to 99, none other than Devin George. Devin George, how you doing, man?
What's going on, brother?
Man, I appreciate you taking time out your day, come chop it up with me, and I know I've been waiting to get you in the studio, and I appreciate you, man, so thanks for coming.
No problem.
So, and as we know, like I said, especially me watching you play for years and my background, DNA too, 94 feet, man, we jump right into it, we pick up full court. So, we're going to jump right in this thing. I got to know I've been doing my homework a little bit, right? So, let's go from the start of this thing, man. Minnesota, and tell me about Minnesota and growing up in Minnesota.
Well, cold, and I was short, man. That's just really, I was a late bloomer. I was always a decent basketball player, but I was a late bloomer. I was extremely short from up until my junior year. Going into my junior year, I was probably 5'9", 5'10" in high school. And then over one summer going into my senior year, I got to like 6'3". And so that was a crazy growth spurt over the summer. And then when I got to college, I grew another 4 or 5 inches more in college. And so me being a late grower kind of helped bring everything together for a basketball player.
So you talk about Minnesota and the cold, though. I want to ask this, though. How did you manage, or was basketball the first sport, or what else did you do? Because, I mean, cold weather, being outside,
Yeah.
and the gym having hoop, though, too. But what was any other sports you rocked early on?
I did. I played baseball and football.
Okay.
I stopped. I played 1 year when I got into high school, and then I just wanted to do basketball full time. But and then I stopped football freshman year. I played baseball my freshman year in high school, but then I stopped. And then I was like, because it was taking up time for my real love of basketball, like spring league and all that stuff. I was like, I'd rather be in summer league and spring league than doing other sports.
So growing up, as we know, we all have our idols of people we looked up to or emulate. Being from Minnesota at the time, who was somebody on your radar that you was like, okay, this is where I'm leaning toward, this is who I'm rocking with, patting my game after?
So it was a couple. One was Kirby Puckett. He was a baseball player.
Oh, yeah.
So Kirby Puckett was like our Michael Jordan in Minnesota. I mean, I'm not sure how many people are familiar with baseball.
Amazing.
But Kirby Puckett was like our Michael Jordan. And so me being able to meet him at 11, like, really was
a legend.
Yeah, it was crazy. And then end up being friends with him later on in life. But the person I really enjoyed watching was Scottie Pippen, was my favorite.
Right.
Everyone loves Michael Jordan. I love Michael Jordan, but the guy that I really enjoyed watching play was Scottie Pippen. We had more games than the Timberwolves. WGN was the Lakers, or with the Chicago station, and so we saw all their games. And so that was just, it was only natural to be a Bulls fan and to watch those guys and try to, patent your game after those guys.
That's what's up. So, and as you know, now having a son in sports playing ball, but back then, right, again, our time frame, I mean, you got me by a few years, but I'm still up there too. But in playing multiple sports like that, though, how much time did you put in? Because you said you were playing baseball, football, and basketball. Mm-hmm. So I'm knowing the work ethic, right? How many hours a day was you? I mean, that was it all day, every day for you, or what was your schedule like?
Sports. It was just sports all day, every day. And then even when school started, right after school, I was going right to the gym. And this wasn't really something that my parents asked me to do. And I was just talking about this. Like, my parents, they worked 2 jobs, both of them, but they never, ever told me to go to the gym. Ever. Not one time. I was just talking to my mom. Like, I don't think that was really on their radar. They was just trying to survive and trying to, take care of the family. They really wasn't thinking about, hey, you need to go work on your left hand. You need to go. They never took me to the gym to shoot. It was just something that was just, we did. I wanted to get better. So after school, drop my books off at home, walk down the street.
That's super dope. Siblings in the family?
Yeah,
competition? Any?
Oh, yeah.
What was that like?
So I'm the middle child. So I got a younger and an older. We're 6 years apart, and the baby is the baby, and the firstborn is the firstborn. So I'm like the middle.
Yeah, you got to
So
hold it down.
So I'm the middle, but I had an older brother that was extremely talented at basketball, really really good. But I would follow him around, and then always want to play with older guys. And I think that's
Key.
the model that I kind of work with my son, is let him get beat up by the older kids, playing up, because I'm not in a rush. If he's going to get better, we're going to stretch him earlier.
Right.
You know what I mean? Let him get lumped up early on in 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th grade, because then when you get to high school, then you kind of catch up.
Yep.
You know, but what's the point of him dominating in 5th grade, you know, if he's better than most 5th graders?
Right.
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't do you any good. So I put him in 6th and 7th to kind of get beat up, because that's what happened to me. That's how I got better, is being pushed down, and the strength, and just seeing, you know, you know, without having to say anything, when you play against older people, you know where you're lacking.
You're gonna go
when a guy hits you, you know that hurt. You know,
Mm-hmm.
when you're trying to push somebody and you can't move them, you know you're not strong enough. You know, when you're trying to get a shot off and they keep blocking your shot, you know you're not, you know, so you adjust, and I think those are things that get better. And so that's kind of what I do right now with my son.
That's what's up. So, and as a parent, and as you know, training and coaching kids myself included, at that time for me, my mom wasn't there to. I don't think she even wanted to get her hands on and be like, "Don't do nothing." So, was your mom hands on at that point, or she, like you said, she was just letting you do your thing, and you had to grow up on your own on the basketball court and sports?
Oh yeah, no,
Right. It wasn't that over.
No, my mom, they didn't say anything. But really, my dad pushed me. He was at the games, and he always kind of pushed me. He always kind of made room for getting better, no matter what it is. 30
Never
points, and he was like, "Yeah, man, but you missed them free throws, you know." And you know, it's go have a really good game. He's like, "Yeah, but you know, you looked a little tired to me." You know, he was always finding something that, you know,
Don't
just
be
keep, to kind of keep pushing you.
That's dope. That's super crucial. So when you really got serious about this basketball thing, like you said, more leaning towards middle school or high school, when it really get like all about hoop?
So I was really serious about basketball, like, as soon as I started. Like, this was something that was serious to me. I took it way more serious than other kids.
Okay.
But then as I got to high school, it was serious. But I would say probably sophomore year, junior year, reality set in. I had no schools asking me. I had no scholarships. I had not one coach ask me to come to their school. No school. And so senior year, no scholarships, no offers, no contact. There was no coaches even said anything. So, you know, you think, okay, at that point, you know, going to the NBA is probably out of the
right.
It didn't even cross my mind.
So let me ask this though: what were those numbers like? Because as we know, numbers really don't lie. But what were the numbers like in high school at that time?
I was scoring 25 a game. I was averaging. I was a decent player. I was scoring 20, 25 game. I wasn't by no means.
So just the lack of, again, you know, now if you have these devices, you know, telling where you end up, right? If you have that publicity, right, and stuff like that. And also, so in Minnesota where you're at, is the school small numbers? Or what was that environment?
So I went to a small Catholic school, but at the time we were in the Minnesota Conference, and we were playing all the larger schools, the Red Wings, the Chaska. These are like cities, which, you know, 2,000 kids at the school, 3,000 kids at the school.
Yeah.
I mean, so we were just getting beat down. We were getting beat down every night because we're playing these big, huge public schools. We're a small Catholic school, and so, but I mean, it was challenging, but we, you know, it was what it was. It got me better. Yeah. It was stretching me.
That stretch or that drive you talk about right now, where does that come from?
I always try to think of, like, what was it that motivated me, so I can try to give it to my son, or so I can try to tell young people. And it's just something that's in you. Like, I'm not sure why, like, failures didn't defeat me. It kind of motivated me, you know. And it's like, when I didn't make the team, like, I was never crying. I just sat patiently and waited to the coach after and say, "Hey man, what do I need to do to make the team next year?"
I agree.
You know what I mean? And I would go right to the gym and try to work on it and whatever. This is why I didn't make it. And so it just never really, you know, sometimes when failures, some people just get discouraged. I don't know. It just kind of like made me angry, but in a good way. And I just kept trying out for the same teams, so and kept failing, and I didn't make it.
I feel it. I mean, I can feel it. Different story situations, but I definitely can relate. So now we get to, you said no offers, right? Nobody knocking down your door. And again, now as we see, then and now it's totally different because you can advocate for yourself now. You can see videos, pictures, you can do everything. What is on your mind going to senior year? Okay, I'm still putting up numbers. Yeah, we took all these L's, whatever, vice versa. But now I know I can play at this another level. What do you do? What goes on? What happens? What happens there?
So in my mind, I was saying I still had basketball desire in me, and so I'm like, okay, well, I'll just go to a smaller school, play basketball, and get an education.
Still get on the court.
You know, because I can't, you know, I still want to play. And you know, some people, you know, their basketball life is like, okay, high school is over, and like, oh, I'm done with it. I can do without it. I still wanted it. I still want to play, and so that was the next best step of getting education and still playing at a competitive level. My parents were all for it. You know, I was the first college graduate.
Dope.
And so they're high school graduates, so they were thinking NBA. They were like, we got a son, so they were taking out student loans. You know, obviously there's no scholarship. I'm taking out student loans. They're taking out loans
I'll make it work
to try to get a kid to graduate from college.
Right.
And so one thing led to another.
That's super dope. So how does Augsburg come into play? How does that come about?
It came into play. My high school coach, wanted to help me get into college, and I think he maybe called the coach and said, "Hey, I got a really good kid. You know, you should look at him." And he came to a game maybe, and you know, helped me get into admission. My mom actually knew somebody that worked at the college, and helped me with the financial aid and all that stuff. And I enrolled, and that was the first step.
So that first accomplishment, though, just graduating high school, getting into college, how was mom and dad feeling?
They were excited just getting in college. Like, they were like, you know, they weren't thinking like NBA. They weren't thinking any of that. They were like, we got a kid that's going to college. You know, they want to get a kid. And because us as parents, you know, we want our kids to go further than we did.
Yes, sir.
You know, whatever we accomplished, whatever we had success at, we want our kids to pass that or do better.
Right.
And so they're looking at, we graduate from high school, but we want one of our kids to go to college and graduate from college.
That's cool. So get a taste of this college life now, as we know, right? It's levels, right? You already said now. No matter if you're a D1, D2, D3, and I can attest to that, doesn't matter. What's the biggest jump you feel you had to make for yourself coming from high school now to try to compete at a collegiate level?
Well, and I tell kids this all the time. Every level, when you're in junior high, you're the man. But then when you go to the next 7th, 8th grade, you're not the man. You're in 7th grade, you're the man. When you go to high school, you know, Phil Jackson calls it well poop. It sinks to the bottom. You're at the bottom of the totem pole. You're at the bottom. You have to start back up. And so going in, you know, the biggest jump was like that independent, the scheduling, being mature, like, no, I got to get to class, getting your schedule together. I got practice. I got captain's practices. All of that stuff is kind of is new. That's what you have to, as an athlete, that's what you have to kind of work on doing. And then really, I was a young guy. My mom, you know, I got a birthday. My birthday is August 29th. Well, school starts 5 days later, so you can be an older kid in the class, or you can be a very young kid. So I was a very young kid. So at 17,
I was too.
I graduated from high school. Yeah. At 17, I'm starting college.
Yep.
So I was on the younger end of like having to figure things out, and that's probably why my growth spurt was probably
a little
later than normal. But as normal, like, my growth spurt happened at 16, but I'm almost trying to finish high school.
You're not done.
You know, because I have a late birthday. So that was one of the biggest adjustments, is really like being a young man, of like, now you're in control. You got to know, I got class, I got to get some lunch, I got practice, I got to study after. You know, you got to get that together, and that was just kind of new to me.
That's what's up. So, in coming in, did you set out any goals for yourself? Like, say, you talk about being the man, whatever, coming from your high school, dominating there, you know, physically, points-wise, stuff like that, gameplay. But now going to this new setting, was it like, you know what, I want to start, I want to play this position, or was it like, I'm just going to go in there and chip away and earn everything I got to get in the door?
Well, in D3, we had JV and we had varsity. And I remember, you know, kind of going in and thinking, like, you know, why am I not on the varsity team? You know, I mean, I was decent enough to play, and, you know, we had captain's practices, and I didn't know, you know, why I would be on the JV. And obviously, when you get to that level, most of the time coaches have players that they've had for 3 or 4 years, and you really gotta push somebody over for a coach to kind of look a freshman way, to push one of their guys that they've been working with for the last 3 years, 4 years, or been there. So that was one of the major things that kind of came in. Like, this ain't right. That was the first time I kind of understood the politics of playing, and it's a lot going on. It's not just sometimes you just throw the best players out there and whoever gets it gets it. No, it's some politicking going on, and so I had to navigate through that for a few. Me and another guy too that was very talented. I think, to be honest, me and another guy named Alex, we were freshmen. I think we were probably the best in the program, but we were freshmen. He put us both on the JV squad, and we just had to work our way through it.
Right. That's what's up. So, and no one setting this up, man. I'm big on my homework research, man. I'm a basketball guru person as far as that goes, but the numbers is crazy, right? Year to year. So, as those rise, and as you're doing your thing, man, it's kind of coming around for you. But what's the environment like actually playing there too, as well, though, as far as playing at that level? But then, because it seems like you're still in your hometown,
Mm-hmm.
so that's
10 minutes from home.
Comfortable too. And how is that like for your parents to see those games? Because I know it's like, to have your parents come to a game, whether you're playing a lot or a little, vice versa, whatever it is. But how is that feeling when you're out here balling?
Mm-hmm.
How's that going? How's that feel?
That was they kind of broke it down to, when you're in junior high or whatever, that was really cute and fun. And then, you get to high school, that was fun.
Right.
But then the college games and traveling and playing conference play or whatever, then they said that's just another level of like excitement, for watching your kid. And so it was just they were they were at every game, and the crazy part about it is, my parents, they worked 2 jobs, and so that was their break, really, is my games at 7 o'clock, because my mom's working all day. Games at 7 o'clock, baby. She's done. 7, 9 o'clock, game over. She's going to start Devean and clean, clean the building. And it kind of came out, it was kind of weird how it happened, is that I was always in the paper. So she was getting the paper hot off the press.
Already.
So she's working at the Star Tribune.
Okay.
And then my dad knew the guy in the St. Paul paper, and he would just like load up in papers. It kind of embarrassed me at times. I'm like, you guys, I hope. And they would come home with like stacks of paper, and I'm like, you guys, it's the same article. Like, why do you need 10 of them? And I was like, I hope you didn't take that in front of somebody, So, but it was all in fun. But I get it now, the excitement, when your child is doing stuff.
So yeah, that's definitely, again, parents that's a dope thing, but it's for them too as well, right? So we're doing it through them for them. Again, going through seeing, man, just the 2-time MEAC Player of the Year, 3-time All MEAC. How did those accomplishments, awards, make you feel just personally though, for yourself?
It was. I really didn't put too much into it. Like, I think I started to play with like some of the guys that were D1 players in the summertime and some of the pros, and I was like, these guys ain't not much better than me, and some of them are better than me. So I was thinking about other things. Like, it was starting to go back, like, man, maybe I can go overseas or something. I started to think of that as I started getting to like my sophomore year, going into my junior year and stuff. Okay. Because I started playing against all these guys in the summer league, and I'm like, man, these guys, so that's kind of. And so after my sophomore year, I went to transfer, and my dad was like, "Don't do it." I'm like, "Dad, I got student loans racking up."
I got you.
And so I'm like,
you thinking more on the business,
the
financial
side.
Or get something free.
He was like, no, please no. I was like, no. And so
Pops knew already.
Obviously there was tampering rules and whatever stuff, so you couldn't really tell anything. But coaches would tell me,
of course,
the guy that was trying to guard you, he's our best player, and he's on a scholarship.
And you're whooping him.
So I'm like, Dad, I can go to this school. I can get a scholarship. I get free, And he's like, no. He's like, please no. He's like, for what? And he's showing me the papers. He's like, you getting, buzz going? He's like, no. He was like, you in the right place.
Right.
And so I was like, I stuck through. I was like, you know what? I'll stay here. And and listened to my dad, and it worked out. It worked out.
Super dope. Shout out to Pops. Did you stay all four? Or just
I did all four. Yep.
graduated?
Yep.
With degree in what?
I grad business communications.
So again, in I guess my high school program, college, student athlete.
Yeah.
Take care of the award. Now that's the question too. How did the graduation from the college make the parents feel? Because I definitely remember my look on my mom's face, my family's face in the hot sun. I went to school down south. It was sweating, but they were all there. But how about your parents? Like, how was that feeling for them?
It was a joy like no other, because like it was this excitement of like they were just kind of floating because I was graduating. Excuse me. And at that time, you know, we go back to the story when my dad told me to stay. He stay. He said, "Don't worry, stay." And then the next year, scouts started coming in, and then obviously, like you know, my friends and people in the stands, everybody's excited when people start coming in, because it was truly a word of mouth thing. Like you start making noise, someone had to say something. There's no social media where you see this guy and they go. It was really talk. Hey, there's a kid over here. There's a kid. And so things just started to pick up. There were like 3 or 4 teams in the gym every night, just coming to see like what's going on with this. I hear this guy making noise over here. So my friends and stuff, they'd be excited, whatever. And my dad would be around, and he never would say, "I told you." You know, he just kind of would look around and he's like, "Hey, the Bulls were here." You know, people, people was excited about it, and so, and he just kind of look away. He's just like, nope, I'm not gonna say I told you.
Humble about it.
And so that was one of the things that happened, you know, during that time too.
That's super dope, man. Before we get into that next movement of your life, though, I definitely gotta shout out my homie Clutch, man. You got 2X or 2X? I got a 2X shirt. Big enough?
Yeah.
Okay, cool, man. Clutch Clothing, man. Take care of the show today, man. My boy Brian and
shout out to Clutch.
Man, definitely gave me a little tank top for sure. Like I said, man, y'all definitely look at on Instagram, man. Got some dope gear. Just building a brand, man, just for different people, everything, man. Also, got the camp tomorrow I'm doing. Shout out to some people who sponsor some kids, though, man. Smart Athletic Kids. Sponsored 2 kids for my camp. Linebacker Dad sponsored the kids. Just appreciate you guys, man, for your time and your effort to support the kids in the city, because it's definitely needed, and that's why I'm out here. That's why we're here doing this, too. So I just want to show love to everybody, again, who shows love to me and my homie with the new shirt again, Barber Dreams, man. Because I'm dope, man. We're all dope in our own way, so I definitely want to support my people and keep it going. I appreciate y'all. So you go through the senior year, get the degree, walk across that stage, people come to the games. What are you thinking now that you actually hear and see maybe NBA scouts in your city, in your gym? Is the dream starting to come true at this point, or what are you thinking?
No, it wasn't, because I still need to go prove myself. I had to get invited to the pre-draft camps, and you know, the story of me getting invited to a pre-draft camp was just fake. It happened. And so they only take 64 guys, and they take the 64 guys. They choose obviously from Duke, and you know, they choose those guys. There was one guy, and everyone that comes to my house, they see kind of the stuff that I have, my balls signed and shoes and all that stuff, and they're like, who's this guy right here? And this guy was Yale Dosey, and he was on the committee of Portsmouth Invitational, and he like loved small school guys. He was a guy that got Scottie Pippen in, he got Dennis Rodman in, so he had like a little knack for
DNA a little bit
for liking small guys, and so he wanted to let me in. We're sending tapes. We're trying to get in, and the committee was like, "No way, no, Yale, no." And Yale was like, "Please, come on, trust me. You know, let him in. Let's let him in." So time goes on. I keep training. They're not gonna let me in, so I'm just kind of like thinking, okay, what's the next move? Continue to train. Well, J.R. Koch, a guy from Iowa, and everybody asked me. I probably have to see where he's at or what happened, and I don't even know if he even knows the story. Well, he was one of the 64 invited. He gets hurt a day or 2 before the camp.
One spot open.
It's
crazy.
So they're like, let's
let him in.
Let's let Yale's guy in.
Okay.
We let Yale's guy in. Let's see what your guy can do.
Right.
So when we get there, Yale, little guy, he's like, "Oh, they let I'm happy to have you.
Yeah.
You're gonna make me look really good." And so I get there, and I end up being the best camper. We won the tournament. We didn't lose a game. We all played as a team. We all got to showcase our skills, and then it just that was the first thing, domino, that just kind of fell into place.
So let's see, draft day comes up.
Mm-hmm.
You already had an idea where you were going, or that was unknown at the time?
No idea. So, draft day was like exhausting because from that first day, and I actually got hurt during this because so from that camp, every team's there. Every team owner, their GM, they're all there. So from that camp, they all like, we need to get. They want you to bring it in their building
privately, right? Okay.
So I can't turn anybody down. So they're all like, we want you to come in. So I'm just going to work out, exhausted. I mean, and some of the workouts, I mean, kids don't understand, like, they don't understand. They think they working. Like, you come in somebody's training camp, especially you go to Miami or something like that, they working you. They want to see if you're in shape. They want to see how mentally strong you are. They're going they some kids think they're ready for it until they get to it. Mm-hmm. If they came in and see what it took, some of them would drop out like, I don't want it. But so I'm working out. I worked out up until the day of the draft. The morning of the draft, I worked out in New Jersey and flew home. Crazy. So I worked out because I had missed a gap. I got hurt in Indiana during a workout, and so I missed like 2 or 3 weeks of like I just had to sit up. I couldn't practice. I couldn't do anything. My ankle was swollen. So on draft day, I had no clue. They always have draft projections where they think you're gonna go, whatever. I was in projections. They thought I would get drafted somewhere, right. Just didn't know where. And so as time goes on, obviously the Lakers drafted me, the 23rd pick, but that was a pick that I didn't think would happen. Right. 2 things. One, they had Kobe, Rick, Eddie Jones.
Similar position, right?
They had 4 or 5 guys in their youth, right. Glenn Rice, in their youth that play the same swing position. Mm-hmm. They're swing players. They play guard. They play forward. Like, why would they even draft me? Not knowing they may have, hey, we're going to draft a younger player. Mm-hmm. We're going to move a couple of these other pieces, get some other pieces. Mm-hmm. We got a younger player that can get groomed.
They're trying to form that.
The older guys are going to be moved out. We'll have a younger guy be able to step in. Obviously, that's the business. Didn't know that. I'm thinking that. And then 2, that was Phil's first year. He was drafted. That was his first year.
So he wanted to build his foundation a little bit.
Yeah. So that workout, you know who the teams want. So they brought me in with a guy that I was the workout dummy, the Lakers.
So you're going against this dude.
I was going against this guy, but
drug him.
Yeah, you're not gonna give me a chance. Like, that's the thing. Like, you're not gonna give me a shot.
That's all you
Don't
need,
give
though.
me a chance.
That's all you
Don't
need.
give me a chance.
That's
It's not gonna. It's not gonna be right.
All.
So, and part of me, you have a little. I'm gonna say you want to have a little fire because you know what you are. I'm the crash test dummy. Mm-hmm. Like, you're just we're here. We want to see this guy, but we just need you to just. Don't put me in that situation. I'm gonna rough him up. So
I love it.
So I get in there, I work out. Phil's putting us through this, and Phil probably just got hired 2 weeks, mm-hmm. putting us through these drills. Go here, do that. Then he started having me do this. You go do this. Had a really good one, and Phil comes up to me. He's like, "You had a lucky workout today," and I was like,
"So man, you want to see? Can you do it again?"
Yeah, he's like, "Lucky." I was like, "Luck? This ain't luck." I was calling him Mr. Jackson. I was intimidated. This guy, Coach Michael Jordan. Yeah. Like, that wasn't luck. I said, I'll go shoot some more if you want me to. I'm not tired. I'm in shape. I'm ready to go. He's like, no. End on a good note. End on a good note. You got lucky. He kept saying, you got lucky. I'm like, man, I kept correcting him. I'm like, it's not luck. I said, if you want me, I'll go shoot some more. We can go do some more drills. Yeah. I'm ready to go. And he said, no. And he just walks off.
I might have made his mind up right there.
No, he didn't. So I go home, call my agent. He's like, how'd it go? I said, I had a really good workout. He's like, they want the other guy. I'm like, yeah, I know, but I don't think they want him after today because he got torched. And so he's like, all right. A few days go by. They call me back again. Say, Lakers want you to see you again. I'm like, damn, I was just there. Yeah. What more do they want to see? Coach is there again. So you had a lucky workout last time. Do that S again.
Yeah, he messing with you. That's the Zen master, right?
I don't think I missed a shot the second time I went back. I don't think I missed. I can remember missing a shot during the first workout. The second one, when they brought me back, I don't think I missed a shot. So he just walks off. I think nothing of it. Again, I know the roster. You know, when you're going to get drafted, you know who's on the team. Mm-hmm. And if there's a player, if there's a center, and I'm a center, I know they're probably not gonna want me. They got those, so that's what I was thinking.
Right.
Draft day comes, they end up drafting me.
So, and just to let this be known again, people, Division 3,
Division 3.
Division 3, right?
Yeah.
So
first,
it's
that's
the
a trivia
the first
question.
round pick though.
Yeah.
And I think we talked about it at the camp a week and a half ago, right? You told the kids in the camp, the only player, Division 3 to be drafted in the first round.
Yep.
Your names get called. That initial feeling for you, out of body experience, or what was that like? 'Cause
Yeah,
that had to be something crazy.
It was the shock and the relief. Like I was shocked and relieved, kind of like, because it was like a lot of stuff that was built up.
Right.
It was a lot of built up work that kind of just was able to kind of like let it go.
Who did you hug first?
I think my
The
mom,
big
and,
group
yeah,
hug?
everybody kind of came in.
Dope.
I can just remember my brother. He was yelling, "Jevin George!" like he was, like it's all burnt in my mind.
Right.
Like he was so excited. He was just
Yeah.
like running around.
Happy for you.
Yeah.
That's
so.
dope. So, moving from the cold to the West Coast,
Oh, yeah.
was that difficult overall? Even though you got drafted, I know that, but just leaving and coming out all the way to here. Like to
Yeah,
Cali.
it was an adjustment. I adjusted eventually, but it was an adjustment. The city, and then really going from a Division 3 to the Lakers. That was a big step. And I tell people all the time, like, going from Duke to the Timberwolves is a big jump. Duke is a massive school, but going to the league, it's a big jump.
But now you're going to.
I'm going from tiny
to
Augsburg
the echelon.
to the Lakers. So my leap was just huge. And so, like, the first part, when I got there, I was just like, I didn't talk because I was just trying to just figure things out, just kind of seeing how things move. There's people everywhere, all on the buses, there's fans at the hotels. I'm just trying to figure things out. Like,
Right.
why are there people all around all the time? What's going on? And so I was just kind of just trying to figure things out.
So, and on my show, I love to talk about just some of the adversity parts though too. Like during this transition or doing that, especially your rookie year, any times where you had to really like, okay, let me self check, or I need some support, I need some help, or kind of I need to get on track. Time where it got really rough for you.
Yeah, I mean it was really rough because it's, and the good thing too. I got drafted and we had all seasoned vets, Rick Fox and Brian Shaws and Shags and John Sally's and AC
a lot of the OGs.
and, so I've had a lot of good older players, Robert Ory, all those players that have had that season.
Right.
And what people don't understand is like the NBA, it's the same. We do the same thing every year. So when you have a young guy come in, the older guy can tell you, like, this is what's about to happen, this is what we're going to do, here's how you're going to feel,
Facts.
what happens. And so it's a cycle. You do the same thing over and over every year. The same time, the same practice, same games. It's just the same thing over. Right. You see the same thing. And so the adversity, I had good vets that I could fall on, come in, ask questions, have trouble with. They've been through it and seen it.
That was super dope. That support I know is definitely key. On some other NBA guys who went through that without some support and see where their careers went, kind of like, okay, it kind of helps out a lot. I mean, you played with a lot of legends, but two major legends initially, right? So just getting to be in that same environment with those guys and seeing Shaq up close and seeing, Cole up close. Now you see some guys, they could be awesome people. Well, how were you those conversations went, or just initial the first time you're meeting those guys in that space, right? As a player, you're there to play, right? You're not there as a fan. Like, you're there to play.
Mm-hmm.
How was that initial coming to? Because I got to show respect, but also I'm like, Mama, I got to work. Because if not, my job's on the line.
I got respect because it was the first thing that I took in is, as a rookie, as a young player, coming into around vets, you need to be seen, not heard. A lot of young guys, they want to be heard early on when they don't really have enough stripes. They don't really have enough OG status to be talking and loud and telling what you're doing and all this and that. And that was one of my things. The only way you knew I was around is you had to come and find me. I'm at the gym, I'm shooting, I'm in the weight room. But you weren't going to hear me. So I just shut my mouth and did my job and stayed out of the way. Did my rookie duties. I had to do them year after year because we win a championship.
They weren't getting
no
no
picks. The next guy in it.
No
then when we
picks.
did get a pick, we had Mark Madsen. They weren't gonna mess with Mark Madsen. He was Mormon. You know, he just
Shaq
really
loved
didn't
him
have
though
him.
too.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But yeah, I know.
We all love
Shaq loved
Madsen.
Mark, but yeah,
but as far as the real hazing and stuff, they're not gonna do that.
Yeah, for sure.
Making him get up at night.
None of that.
And, you know,
So you basically had to do yours repeat.
3 years. 3 years.
But you did it.
I did it.
You
know,
did it.
and it, you know, and so, you know.
Some of the work ethic, right? Again, everybody knows about the Kobe 666 stuff, like the hours, the days of the month. Did you spend time working out with him one-on-one anytime?
All the time. All the time. And we would have battles of if we can beat him. So I lived in Manhattan Beach, which is only 10 minutes from El Segundo.
Mhm.
He lived in Newport Beach.
Right.
He's on the beach side, but he's way further down.
Right.
He would beat us in, and he's pretty much dripping wet, done while we trying to get in.
Facts. I've heard that
You
from
know what I mean?
everybody. I've known that.
It's
Experience
just,
of Kobe. It
as
was
soon as
like,
we get in there, we pull up, we hear the music in the gym,
Too
boom,
late.
boom. He's already there.
y'all late.
And his ability and him learning things from him, and he was always in my corner. And he loved you. If you were a dog,
Yeah.
if you fought, if he didn't care if you scrapper, he loved you. If you my shoulder hurts and you doing all that, and
That wasn't him.
no, he didn't really want to rock with you like that. But if you scrapping and clawing and all, he loved it.
And I mean, I would gotta say, because I mean, I never thought I would have you in the studio right here years ago watching you play. My grandma, I mean, she's passed away for years now, but I was in college in Mississippi.
Mhm.
She loved Kobe, like, and we're 2 hours difference down there. She stayed up late. I'm like, Grandma, it's 11 right now. Why are you still? I'm watching Kobe, but I'm watching you. I'm like, well, she loved that, but I was like, oh, she's a basketball fan, but she really loved Lakers, but also just the respect factor that, again, the work you put in, because the thing, you knew your role, guys knew your role, and that made the team better. And that's why I've always been, I never was a standout guy. I didn't score a lot of points. Had to play defense, get the ball to the guy who would score, and do that. But again, to see that come to play, you can see on the court, yeah, it was Kobe, Shaq was like, nah, we know who guarding, you pick, you know what I mean, stuff like that. Let's talk Shaq though. I think he's one of the biggest, goofiest guys I've ever seen on TV, but also one of the he pushes you in a different manner though too, right? But he's one of the, I like his funny side too. Shaq is such a hilarious. I like the way he interacts with his kids, all his kids. He's supportive, but on the court though, and he still talks about this day. The total domination is something that he kind of lives by. What was his practice work ethic like though? Because I'm like, was he like that in practice or he just game time?
So it was a little bit of balance to me from my perspective, and he practiced hard when he practiced, but he didn't practice a lot because he's playing the whole game.
30-something minutes a game.
He got guys
His
hanging
body,
on him.
Yeah.
At that time, this wasn't the Steph Curry era.
No.
This was the Shaq era, where every team is, if you're 7 foot, you would be on the team. So teams have 5 or
Footers.
6, 7 footers
Yeah.
just for him
Yeah.
to come and foul on him or lean on him.
Mm-hmm.
That was how you would structure your team. You had to have at least 5 big guys just sitting on the bench,
Yeah.
ready to be fouler or ready to come in and be a big body lane. And so it wasn't guards. And so he wouldn't get breaks. So his breaks was practice.
Right, for sure.
I mean, there'd be sometimes
You
a
had
game.
to.
He called coach. I need a time. He's like, I need a break. Give me somebody in. Coach like, nope, timeout. He calls timeout. Get your break now. You're going back in. You're not in. So he had a little different practice schedule.
Yeah.
You know, because we leaned on him heavy.
Yeah, had to for sure. Phil Jackson again talked about, like, I mean, I read a little bit of his book, Basketball Savant in my eyes, IQ wise. But did it take? How was you guys' connection as far as that goes? Because I think he's one of the coaches that has a different relationship for every person on the team, or is he the same throughout?
No,
I think the way he communicates with
Oh yeah.
different.
Oh yeah. So funny story is I was the beating guy. I was the beating guy.
But you could take it though.
Yep. And so it took me probably 4 years for him to tell me what was going on. He called me up in his office when we got to New York. So for year after year, he would always pick on my segments as the teaching points. We'd come in, you know, we see the film, he got it paused. We come in, I'm like, damn, this is why I'm in the game. Here we go. And then he getting on me and he's cussing. George, what are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing here? What is this pass? This is not the cut we make. He just on me. Well, I'm like, Coach, I don't know. So he cussing me out. He told me one time he got so mad with me in film session. He told me, you know what? He says, I'm a bad coach for even having your ass in the game.
Wow.
So he would just, so he, for year after year. And so I'm like, man. And then one time, he wouldn't see, he thought it was somebody else. It might have been B. Shaw or somebody else. And he was like, George, what are we doing here? And then I'm like, nope, that ain't me. And then he was like, you know why he did it? Because you've been doing it that way. So it was no escaping.
Way around it. No way around it.
So finally, we get to New York. He calls me up, and my dad always told me, like, my dad would watch every game. He recorded every game, and so he's just like, you know what? You're on the bench. I need to see you smiling. Like, he was just on, like, be professional. And then I'll call him and complain about playing time, and he just could not understand and comprehend. My dad is from Mississippi.
Okay.
Mississippi, too. So he knew what my checks looked like every 2 weeks. And so he's like, you have no problem. He told me to sit my A on that bench until
Smile
Jesus
and
called me. And so he said, don't move and just sit there. Yeah. So yeah.
That's crazy, but that's definitely something I always wonder about Phil. Man, it's just crazy thing about this opportunity to run. The first championship run was when? The first that 3-peat was
99 2000.
99 2000. So I think now, was that the year you guys played SAC in the?
We played them every year. They were
Western
coming every. Oh no, the Western
the finals was the third year though.
The third
right?
year, yeah.
That was the third one. Okay.
When Vladdy hit the ball out.
Yeah. Before you get there though, nah. Okay, so that first one though, man. Again, like, so seeing your dreams play out for you, like, you go to the Lakers, you're playing with Hall of Famers, you're winning games at the highest level. You're in the biggest, one of the biggest basketball cities in the world, in the country, and now you're in the finals. Is it a reality already? Like, we can get this done the first go around, or how'd that first one come about just for you?
The first one was really, like, extremely, like, it was extremely hard because it was so long. Like,
and you had to travel too. Though. You went to Indiana,
but the season, like, that was the first thing, and most people understand. Like, college, you're playing 30 games, 30-something games, 28 games.
Yeah.
Well, you're almost playing 3 seasons in one, just a regular season. You got 82 games. 82. So we have this rookie wall. Usually around 40, 50 games.
Burnout.
As a rookie, you like, when is this over? Like, it's just like night after night, and then like it's a wall coming because we got 30 more of these. Like, it's like
before you even get to the playoffs.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so then you get to the playoffs, then you got more. It's just, so I just remember just the mental fatigue of, like, the season is going on and you got to be on top of it. And then, we had the scout team. Like, so we're running as a young boy, we running the other team's plays because we got to get them ready. So we got to know our stuff and we have to know their stuff. We didn't have to know the playbook. So when we practice, we got to run their calls. We got to run other team sets. So, but that was just, that first year was just overwhelming, the mental fatigue of, like, how long it is.
Yeah. So, did you guys win that one in Indiana or in LA?
We won that one in LA.
And the thing about it, you came out of college,
stepped
right
into
to
it.
the playoffs,
right into
a championship,
right into it. First year, second year, third year, first year, boom, boom, boom.
So your first year, and again, so I'm 21 at the time, 22 a little bit. That's probably unheard of too. I gotta check the stats on that later. But you came right and got to it, and you got a 3-peat. But that first one, celebration for you. Family, players, split up between everybody, because I know it had to be something amazing. That is a crazy accomplishment to come out of college.
Yeah, it was an amazing celebration of, like, winning that last game and being the champion, and then just walking into it. And I was like, I was just at Augsburg last year. Now I'm like spraying champagne bottles in the locker room and stuff, and getting cigars handed to you. And so it's like it was just another moment that just kind of had to sit back and, like, just a year ago I was in a little bitty gym last year, doing, so that was one of the things I was going through my mind.
That's super dope. So again, Phil, I already did before, did twice, another team. Going to your second year, your team meeting or you get back, okay, camp ready to start your team meeting. How do y'all get ready for that? Because now the first one's out the way, right? But that second one, they say, is always a harder one.
So mind you, as being a young player, I had to do summer league. So we win a championship. So just think about my. So I'm.
Your
so
calendar
we're going
year,
back.
right?
Yeah, we're going back to my mental fatigue. Like
Mhm.
I'm already rookie wall. So basically, so right when I got drafted, so I had the triangle before everybody because I got drafted and we had summer league.
So you already started.
Well,
looking at
I had it in July,
Okay.
the previous year. The Cove and Shackman didn't get it until October, September.
So you were
In
already
training
moving
camp.
now.
So we had so I started there. We go all season long. I'm mentally fatigued. We win the championship. We got there. We win the championship. I got 5 days. I got to start summer league again.
That's
So I had to go back to summer league all of July. Start of August. I get August off. I can go see people, go do a little break. September, I got to come back in and start working out.
What was your rehab like? What did you do? Because that's a lot of months. How did you bounce back from?
So
What was that like?
That's
That's
you
crazy.
had to get your acupuncture and massage and just your ice, and you just have to be on top of it. It's like a full
lot.
thing, and because in August, I had to come in, and part of it, I had a bonus in my contract if I did some workouts, some lifting.
So I'm gonna
So
get
I'm
that.
the only one in there. So summer league is over. Everybody's leaving. I'm going to get the bonus, so I
Get
get
that bread.
420.
Yeah, I need to get that
I'm
bread.
not gonna leave no money on the table.
Yeah.
So I go there, then 2 weeks off. September come, I gotta get it back. So I get like 2 weeks off, maybe 4 weeks off for the summer.
Yeah.
I'm back at it, and just so I did that again. So when I did that, second year, won the championship again. 2 weeks later, summer league.
Still
Did that
summer
again.
league, though.
Yeah, gotta go back. Could get my bonus. Gotta do
Oh.
it again. Third year, going into my third year, summer league again. We win the championship. So just
your
think
3-year run was like consecutive months. Really, you really didn't have any breaks.
I didn't. So
you really didn't have any breaks.
3.5 years of just straight
Basketball. Straight basketball. That's crazy. So during this times there, playoffs, all that stuff like that. Give me your top 2 places to play outside of LA though. That you like. Okay, we're going to this city. I want to have a good game. Or I know I like the environment. Gonna be live. It's gonna be jumping. Two teams at 2 locations that stood out for you.
San Antonio and Sac.
Okay. San Antonio, I heard about Sacramento.
They
That
had that.
was crazy.
Got a little bit of the Alamo Dome.
Yeah. Okay.
That was a little crazy. And then in Sac
Playing
here
Okay.
with the cowbells and stuff.
That was definitely a
that
different
was crazy.
environment.
That was crazy.
Your personal biggest game of your career you can remember. Or 2, if you got 2 of them highlights. Just 2 of that.
The closeout game of our third championship,
third one.
being the leading scorer and then just knocking down shots into
Crazy.
to crazy.
That definitely was
So that
crazy.
was that was probably my biggest
Um,
moment.
What was it like for you going back home after that now? Because it can't be the same. Or I mean, like initially, right, starting out after you got those done, and then going back home. How was it when you after your first one? Do you go home for a little bit?
Yeah, I did. I went home.
And
It
then-
was exciting for people, because where we're from, it's a lot of people take that on like that's us. We're at the
See, of
Lakers.
course,
They
of course.
think that's there, and
course.
he's representing us. That's a kid from we grew up with him, and so it was exciting for people going back home.
Yeah.
At the same time, people were like crazy excited.
Mhm.
They just didn't know what to say. They would just like ask the silliest questions and
Mhm.
stuff. I knew people my friends, my crew that I used to hang with used to get so mad. And the number one question that people just didn't know what to say is they used to just ask me, like, do you really know Kobe and Shaq?
I just play every day with them for.
And I'm like,
However many
no, they
months.
play on the other Laker team. I play on the West Coast Laker team. They play on the East Coast. And I don't get a chance to come in the locker room. If they're there, I can't be there.
Right.
So but that was the number one question. Like, do you know? I'm like, what do you mean? I'm with the dude every day.
Right.
Like,
That's
so.
crazy. Yeah.
But
what's
yeah.
up. That's what's up, man. You have a great run there, going to Dallas, spend some time there.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Cuban was Dallas at the time.
Yeah.
So, and I've already heard. I've seen them redo the building there though. He takes care of his.
Oh, he does.
I heard Mark. He's the one guy that people. Mark's. Hey, he gonna look out. PlayStations in your locker room back. All kind of stuff. Like he takes out for his play.
Yes, indeed.
Mark Cuban. Look
Funny
out.
story. When so our Laker plane was like one of the old Delta planes that they gut out, and it was one of the regular charter planes that we have. It doesn't look. They take the regular Delta planes, they gut them out,
Right.
and they kind of section them off. Like the front section is like car tables and stuff.
Right.
We have the big seats.
You
and
gotta
stuff.
need longer,
They got a
more
middle-
space.
Middle section for the coaches, they got the TVs and stuff, and in the back they have like the back is like all first class.
Okay,
kinda.
yeah.
So that was our plane. It was nice. So when I got,
Dallas.
so when I went over to Dallas my first year, preseason start, they didn't have their plane. Either it was getting fixed or Cuban was renting it out or something like that. But it wasn't going to be ready until. So the guys were mad. But the plane that we had to take was the Laker plane that we had. They were like, "Oh man, we got this plane." I was like, "What's wrong with this plane? This is the one we've been on." They're like, "Just wait till we get our plane, and then you'll see why we want to." And then when the plane came, I said, "I see why y'all didn't want to get on this plane." And so, but Mark sets it out. Mark does it.
That's what's up. So, spending time there, Golden State too, but just as it starts to round off, and a shout out to one of my best friends, man, Aaron Haynes, just finished up a 17-year career in South Korea, played years there, about 14 years, but the transition part. A lot of athletes talk about this in all sports, right? As we know, 5 times undefeated, but also sometimes different things come to play. For you, was it just you knew it was that time, or something, not that last contract didn't work out, so it was like, it's time to shift at that point in time?
No, the shift in my mind started probably, first year, get drafted, 3-year contract. After that 3 years, they were trying to sign me, Lakers trying to sign me at 12:01, soon as the clock ticked. So I never really had a chance to hit free agency. I went and saw some other people, then I got another 4-year contract. After that 4 year, after my 7th year, I sat on the market for a little bit. And then that's when it kind of clicked in, like, ooh, like,
sitting out here,
what's after basketball, or what's this? That kind of got me going, because it didn't have a chance once I got drafted, and once I got signed, I didn't have a chance to really get that thinking of, like, this is it. 4 years down the line, 3 years down the line is it seems like a long time, but it goes by quick.
Right.
So after that 7th year, that's when I said, I really started getting involved. I was always involved in our union and stuff, but that's when I started getting involved in, like, the internships and using the NBA and saying, hey, I want to go meet with these guys. I want to start meeting with these business executives and going and doing internships, and sitting on movie sets, just kind of doing everything just to kind of see what excites me after basketball, because this isn't going to last forever. And so that's kind of what my mindset was. I took the Stanford course. That there's so they do one at Harvard, Stanford, and they did one, I think, at maybe Northwestern, but I think it was at Harvard and Stanford. They did the two. I did the West Coast one, where they have the top professors in business come in and teach you for a week. It's a crash course. It's like from 8 in the morning to 8 at night, and they feed you. They do this. They bring all these speakers in, all these business owners in, and they give you their cards, their information, or whatever. Hey, if you're going through business. And we had one day where we did franchises. The next day we did real estate. The next day we did franchising the baseball teams and basketball teams. We did all kinds of different businesses, the garage band, all that other stuff. And so they taught us the difference, and we had just learned, and so that was one of the things I did.
I think that's a lot of unseen stuff and I'm gonna keep it real clear. Like, a lot of African American or minority athletes, we can do other things in sports.
Yep. And
do it well, and articulate it well, and learn and be effective.
Yep.
And then if you use your work from basketball to funnel your other business, or to provide for your family, we're able to do that because, again, we can be educated. We're educated. Again, like I said, D3 athlete, college graduate.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So being versatile in different spaces. I mean, I've heard you speak on numerous occasions to kids, adults, and it's transparent. And I think that's super dope. So, and before we get out of here, at the end of my show, man, I want to ask your triple threat, right? So we know basketball, right? Pass, shoot, whatever. But now it can be just in life in general for you, like your triple threat of what you want to relate to somebody else, or what you live by, whatever it is, man. I want to get your triple threat right now.
I just from being in the basketball world, I would say patience. Like, there's 3 things, like, work ethic, patience, and just belief. And you got to work hard. Like, nothing is given to you, and like a lot of people get it mixed up. Like, you don't have to work hard, or it just comes. I just want to be a basketball player, so I just be one. But I don't have the same habits. I play games all day. I don't do this. I don't take it serious. And then the belief, you gotta believe in that things will happen. You gotta keep a positive mind. You gotta sow positive seeds in your thoughts, and then patience. A lot of people aren't patient. They want it now.
Yeah.
Like, they want it right now. It's like, I need to have it this. I need to be the best player in 8th grade. I need to be the best this. I need to be the top this. And it all has to happen. And I always like telling people this and encouraging both young and old, good and bad, kids that are top of the class now, or kids that might be the lowest.
Sure.
It doesn't. It goes. And I always tell them to encourage kids is that all the players I play with, I can only count a handful of guys that were phenoms at 7th, 8th, 9th grade that
still,
continue to go on.
Right.
Everybody had a story.
That's the reality.
All the best, the greats, other than LeBron and them, he was 7th grade and he's still LeBron to them. But
was that 1%, right?
All of them, maybe Ray Allen, Jesus Otherwise, he was, you know, and so, but all the other players that made it to the NBA and played with, they've all had a story. Couldn't get on the team, cut. They were overweight. They were this. They were that. That's the norm. The norm isn't you're the phenom now. And parents push this, oh, my son's the best phenom at 7th grade. And that's actually the worst thing to be doing. If you look at those numbers, the best 7th and 8th graders that are right now, they won't even make it. They won't even make it. I can show you all the top 7th and 8th graders. And I always shout out that other YouTube station that I always watch on, Stunted Growth, it's called. And it shows all those YouTube phenoms of those kids, the handlers, the ball handlers, the shooters, this and that.
Where are they now type?
It ruined them because they put that LeBron weight, that professional weight on them with that expectation. And these are kids, they can't hold all that weight.
Right.
And they're there. The best way is the late bloomers. The best way is the ones that stay under there. Nobody worried about. There's no pressure on you.
Grind.
You just keep getting better. You keep getting and it all getting better, and it all comes together.
That's what's up too. That's super dope, man. I appreciate you taking time out your day to come, dropping a lot of knowledge, man. And, I definitely, again, like I said, it's definitely been a lot of bars, a lot of wisdom, man. a lot of gems. I hope everybody's taking heed, and these athletes, these coaches, and people just learning. But also, again, like I'm gonna say before we get out here too, though, man, D3, y'all.
D3.
The only first round pick out of the D3, but because kids these days it's D1 or bust. But now they have so many outlets. You can go. You can advocate for yourself. Or
this phone is different now.
You know what I mean? So it's more avenues for you. But do that as well. And I definitely, before I go, man, they might still be up. My people in Jamaica watching right now. Shout out to my twin, man. Tomorrow's our birthday, man. We'll be 39 tomorrow. My twin sister, man, Tish. Happy birthday. I love you. Tish. Everybody in Jamaica too, man. If y'all staying up, man, bless up. I appreciate y'all. And man, shout out to DJ Eddie again. Once again, man, we in the 360 studio. It's popping, man. It's the hottest thing rocking, and you'll keep this thing going. Shout out to Devean George, man. Great guy, on and off the court, not in front of the cameras. He's like this every time since I met him, working in camps with the kids. He's about this business, but also about just giving knowledge and really just putting something positive out there in the area which we need in Sacramento. And again, this is my goal, to keep things going like this so we can branch out to the city, to the kids, to the youth, and give back to the game that does so much for us. And, you know, I mean, that's what it's about, prosperity and that. So many blessings to you, man. I appreciate you. All right, man.
Anytime.
Appreciate you.
Anytime.
Yes, sir. All right, y'all have a good one, man. We out.